Welcome to our explainer. Today, we're talking about a super simple plan to help people out on a rainy day, and how it all got so complicated. Yeah, it's a story about umbrellas, but you'll see it's actually a story about all of us.
Okay, so picture this. It's 2018, and the SG Cares movement launches this awesome initiative called Share a Umbrella. The idea? So simple. They put out these community-owned umbrellas, totally free for anyone to use if they get caught in a downpour. It was supposed to be this perfect symbol of a community really looking out for its own.
And they went big right from the start. We're talking 8,000 umbrellas placed in all these convenient spots. I mean, everything was set up for this to be a huge success.
Right, so if the idea was so good, why are we talking about it? Let's dive in, because this is where a great plan on paper meets well, a very human reality. What in the world happened to all those umbrellas?
First, let's look at the immediate problem. Those shared umbrellas, well, they weren't getting shared for very long.
It's kind of wild how fast the whole system just fell apart. Almost right away, the umbrellas just started vanishing. People would grab one, take it home, and that was it, gone forever. Others were just left behind on buses or in taxis. A bunch got damaged and tossed. And the result? You guessed it. The stands were totally empty right when you actually needed one.
And you can really feel the frustration from people who saw this happening. It wasn't some big mystery. People were watching as others just took the umbrellas, putting their own short-term convenience way ahead of the community's resource.
And this image really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? The whole system stopped being seen as a shared resource we all had to protect. Instead, it just became a free-for-all. That whole spirit of sharing just got washed away in the rain.
Okay, so that's what happened. But now we've got to ask why. Why would a system that's built on just a little bit of trust fail so quickly? It wasn't a problem with the logistics. Nope, the problem was something much deeper.
You see, whether this whole thing worked or not had nothing to do with how many umbrellas there were or where the stands were placed. It all came down to one thing: the mindset of the people who were using them.
And the source material points to this one specific concept as the missing piece: gong de shin. It translates to civic mindedness. You know, it's that inner feeling of responsibility we have for public things. It's that little voice in your head that says, hey, I should probably bring this back so someone else can use it.
And that's the core conflict right there. On one side, you've got that immediate personal thought, I'm getting soaked, I need this now, I'll just take it. But on the other side, you have the bigger community need. Hey, for this to work for everyone, we all have to return them. And, well, we saw which side won out, again and again.
You know, this isn't some new, shocking problem. It's actually a textbook case of something called the tragedy of the commons. That's what happens when we have a shared resource and everyone acts in their own self-interest. It seems rational for one person, but when everyone does it, the resource gets completely depleted. And in the end, nobody gets to use it.
So is that it? Is the idea just broken? Well, not so fast. If a lack of civic mindedness is the problem, what's the solution? Let's check out what the source material suggests.
This is really the million-dollar question, isn't it? The problem was never the umbrellas. It's the culture. You can't just throw more umbrellas at the problem. So how do you actually build a culture of sharing and responsibility?
The source lays out this four-step approach, and you'll notice it's all about long-term change. It starts with education, explaining why this stuff matters. Then it's about fostering a sense of personal virtue, of pride in your community. And of course, this stuff has to start young by building good habits. And finally, people have to lead by example.
And look, this isn't just one group's job. The source makes it crystal clear that building this kind of society means everyone has to pitch in. It takes schools, families, community leaders, and maybe most important of all, it takes every single one of us to feel a sense of ownership and hold ourselves accountable.
And that right there is the real takeaway. The shared umbrellas were just a test, you know, a small-scale experiment. But what they really show us is something much bigger about social trust, about cooperation, and about our ability to look beyond what we need right now to take care of the people around us.
It's a pretty powerful question to end on, I think. It makes you think about all the other, less visible ways we have to rely on each other every single day. And it makes you wonder what it really takes to build a community that truly works for everyone. Thanks for joining this explainer.